All right. The gentleman on the right-hand side of the screen is the House Minority Whip, and that is Steve Scalise. Steve, good morning to you. Welcome back to the show. Great to see you. I got to tell you, I was a little surprised at Mr. Trump's reluctance to come out straightforward and say, yeah, I am the leader of the Republican Party. What do you make of that reluctance to say that?
Well, Stuart, good morning. Good to be with you. And President Trump doesn't need to say that because if you look, when he gave his speech over the weekend in North Carolina, when he went to CPAC, he still garners the most attention of anybody, more than even President Biden when he speaks. And that's because, he's still somebody who's got a large following. Maybe I'd call him the leader of our party right now because he's clearly as a former president, still very popular. And his policies, by the way, worked tremendously well to get our economy back on track, to secure our border, to stand up for our allies around the world and stand up to our enemies. We're not seeing any of that right now from President Biden.
I believe you're going to Bedminster later this week. That's where the President Trump lives during the summer, I believe. I believe you're going. What's the purpose of that meeting? Is it to put forward Trump's policies in the future and make sure that the Republican Party follows Trump's policies? Is that it?
Well, Jim Banks, the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, put this together. I'm actually on the road fundraising because we're working to get the House back in 2022. So I've been on the road a lot these last few weeks and will continue to be on the road raising money. And we're getting tremendous support all around the country because people are just really disturbed by what Joe Biden has already done. But Jim Banks has done a really good job as the chairman of RSC and wants to put an agenda together like we all do to focus on the conservative principles that work. It's not just about opposing what President Biden's done, because we're very opposed to these radical policies, the socialist left movement we're seeing, paying people not to work, this massive inflation, letting our border get completely wide open. But in addition to that, we want to lay out what those conservative principles are. And I know Jim's been one of those who are working on it. And that's one of the things I'll be talking about with President Trump. And President Trump is very interested in helping us get the House back. Whether he runs himself or not is a different story. But, he really does care about this country still, is very concerned about the direction that President Biden's taken us in.
Here's what I hear from many, many people. They like Trump's policies. They were successful. Not so keen on Trump, the persona, and how he came across. What say you?
Well, if you look at what's happening right now, I think for those people that would say that, they are very concerned about the economy. If they wanted to add on to their house or buy a new house right now, they're going to be paying $35,000 more for that house than they would have a year ago. We're not seeing the kind of growth in our economy we should have. Look at Israel under attack, and you've got President Biden who spent more time trying to help Iran get that nuclear weapon. If you look at what President Biden has done on Russia, he just gave a tax break to Russia to build their pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline between Russia and Germany. And he said no to American jobs with the Keystone pipeline and really insulted our friends Canada. So I think you're seeing policies that are devastating. They like the policies of President Trump, and they're probably longing for those policies to come back.
OK, Congressman, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And we hope you are well and fully recovered. I believe you are. And God bless you, Steve Scalise. You're all right, sir. Good.
Thanks, Stuart.